Well, hey everyone, it's Liz here, Liz LeClaire, one of the mods, and I'm here with Anna, and I'm here with Kelly, the other mods, and we're here to interview today Rawb Thomas and Rawb Love, I'm sorry, and Robin and Thomas. We're going to start with Robin and Thomas. So Robin and Thomas first established a bakery in the early 1970s in terms of developing businesses. Then they developed an arts in the 80s, developed an arts and crafts store. They had a family of four children, and they were always seeking sort of health and wellness for their family, things that worked for them, things that were healthier than always going to the antibiotics and stuff and vaccinations and stuff like that. So they were looking at things like allicin, colloidal silver, homemade yogurt, birch, xylitol sugar, and other types of herbs. And then in the 2010, they were introduced to something they call mana, that is called mana sachet, which they'll explain. And they've been distributors for that and business people for that. So they're going to tell you about their peptide mission, advice about starting a small business like they've done, and advice about the future of what they see about their specific nutraceuticals, the Mana Gold and the peptides and stuff like that. So Robin and Thomas, why don't you come on and begin to share?
Okay. Are we there yet? It's hard to tell.
Yes, you're here. You're here and you're on.
I'm good. Okay, I'm just going to change the view to a gallery because then I can see myself.
Perfect.
Yeah. The base. Oh, you want us to introduce ourselves? Okay, Thomas and Robin.
I've introduced yourself. Yes, if you're clearly
okay,
Thomas and clearly Robin.
Okay. And anyway, the peptides, they're natural to the body.
I looked on that
And
time.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, peptides are natural to the body. They're very small amino acid chains that some consider proteins, but they have the great ability to transfer nutrients to the cells of the body and really give them the energy and power they need to function, the cells to function properly. And it's not that they're new. They kind of started with the Russians in the 1950s, but they were new to the Western area. And it's really only been over the last few years that they've become really well known. And they're making big headways. If you want to learn a lot about it, we have Peptides, the Biological Miracle Site, and that covers just all the aspects of what peptides do so far from what we've learned. Mana in itself is a peptide. It was developed around just before the turn of the century, and it's one of probably, well, combinations. Right now there's maybe 50 peptides out there that are in the marketplace. But there's 300,000 peptides according to the scientists out there
in your body naturally
that are naturally in your body.
Yeah.
So it's an area that's growing and it's something that's being discovered. But as far as mana goes, it's been involved with helping people with health issues for actually quite a long time.
Oh, 20 years at least.
Yeah. So how we got involved with mana, and I was having some health issues, and I'm always looking for things that kind of, I can work with. And so I came across mana and got it, ordered some, and I found it very helpful for both Robin and I. And I asked the fellow if I could buy in bulk because I like sharing with family and friends and that's what we did. And so then he set up a website for me to deal with the area that I was dealing with, and so we introduced it to a few people, and others started ordering, and it became interesting. And then we ended up as time went on to the whole distribution for the United States we were asked to take it over. So we did. And from there, it's just grown and been a really good home type business because it's one product that makes it easy to distribute. And we haven't, tried to really promote it too much because of the certain issues that were there, if you know what I mean, in the health industry. So we just let it grow organically, really, and that's where we're at this point.
Thomas,
Yeah.
what do peptides actually do for us? I know there's a broad range, but what are some of the kinds of things they do to help humans?
Yeah, peptides are the carriers. They're very specific, meaning if you have a peptide that helps the heart, it'll help the heart. You have a peptide that helps the liver, it helps the liver. If it helps, they're very organ and cell specific. There's like 300,000 of them, right? So they all have these little functions that they do. And what we're learning more and more is that they're energy transporters. They transport energy. And the main energy I think they transport is light. This is what seems to be coming forth.
That's our conclusion.
Yeah, they transport light into the cells of the body, and it's the light that's the energy, the frequency that transfers, and it gives it the power to actually renew and restore your body. So what we've been encouraging people to do is get the sunshine at the very beginning of the day and the light as it's setting, because those are your peak times of really, really full energy, and your body uses that. Now, vitamin D, for instance, is a peptide. So that shows you right there how that, that's possible. Yeah, so peptides they're little amino acid chains. They're very small, so they can penetrate cells. The smaller they are, the more effective they are because they penetrate cells. And I think most people here understand amino acids, that they're, there's like 22 to 24 essential amino acids. Your body needs those building blocks to actually build cells and repair and do all the things your body does. And then there's other there's other amino acids that are out there as well.
That's really great. That's
a
really
lot
great.
of this.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you guys. I was going to say, would you mind terribly if we moved on toward how you set up your small business and how you could support, what is your advice for others who are starting out small, solopreneurs or duopreneurs, if you will?
Well, it's I don't think it, from what I can see, it's not that difficult to set up a small business. The niche is to find the need and fill it. In other words, look for the thing that you really like and what someone else needs. Okay, and then to start, you could set up a web page, like a website. To get a URL, you're looking at maybe $30, and then you have to put that website together. But a lot of companies have made it fairly easy to plunk in whatever you need, and it doesn't have to be super professional. You can do it just by taking a few pictures or just putting a few things together and a little bit of writing, and you can have a web presence for your business. As you go along, you might hire someone to do your site or whatever, but to start, you don't have to do that, and you can go on. Then it's a matter of taking that product and then exposing it some way. You could do a YouTube video, you could do a eBay or Etsy or those type of things, Facebook Marketplace. And Kim is coming out with a marketplace, a UNN marketplace. So what's going to happen there is that you'll be able to advertise your site on there and actually put your product or service on there and be paid directly through that. You might even not need to put up a payment gateway from your site. So that makes it even easier to handle, and that's what I see is coming. So it's really just to be ready on what you really want to do. You can have a product or a service. So the service is your, you might be a woodworker and you make bowls out of burl, or something special that people would like if they knew about it. And so this is your route to expose that, because locally you might only sell maybe 100 units over a few years, but worldwide people all over can look at your product and say, oh gee, I really like that, and order it, and you could be sending it to Europe or wherever, right? So that's really the gist of it. It's not hard to set up a site.
That's interesting. And you answered my question, which was, where do you advertise, or how do you get it out there? Where have you found the most of your clients and some of the sources you suggested? Facebook Marketplace, etc.
Well, as I said, we've actually maintained a very low profile because it was necessary, because of the abilities of mana to do so many things health-wise, improve. And so we haven't done that yet. And yet we still have people from 2015, 20 years ago coming back, and they say, oh, I'm glad to see you're still around, and really like your product. So, these things we have on our website, and you can, check that out. There's a lot of testimonies there as well.
Yeah.
But
one thing that we found with the website is, if we put special words, how do you call that? Keywords. And when people put a search out, they will put keywords in, and our site will come up because it has these keywords. And that's how a lot of people found us over the years.
I love that. You're doing SEO too. So the Dunas Park has a question. What does your product look like? Is it comes in a bag? Do you have it right there? Yeah, at least.
I do, but it would be easier if I could just screen share and then.
Absolutely. Let me give you permission to screen share. Go ahead and ask for it. Click on screen share and we'll give it to you.
Okay.
That's what it looks like right there.
Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's a sachet in a foil pack, and you just make a cup of tea out of it early in the morning. Just as you're getting up, you use that, and you just put it in a cup with about 6 ounces of water. And then you sip on it. After about 20 minutes, you take it and then sip on it, because it needs to steep to draw the peptides out of the sachet. And it's such a simple thing, but it has very powerful benefits. Just to give you a couple of ideas, just after I started, this fellow Douglas got in touch with me, and he wanted more mana. He had been taking it for a little while, and he told me that he had stage 4 liver cancer and was sent home from the hospital to die. And he started taking this mana, and I still had contact with him 5 to 7 years later. And as far as I know, he may still be alive, but he was sent home to die. And there's a lot of testimonies, and all of them are firsthand. It's hard to get, when I say firsthand, I've either received them personally, or they were given to others who I put on the site. But the mana itself is really has a lot of abilities for improving your immune system, and also it's if you're having an operation for connective tissue, so because it works against not virus, but bacteria and these type of things. It actually
Works like an antibiotic.
And yeah, like an antibiotic, and it just keeps infections down. People heal much faster. We had one fellow, his name was Sean, and he had a quad accident, so he ended up he's diabetic. He had broken his leg, and he
6
had
spots.
yeah, he had a really bad scar tissue, like scar from the operation. It was quite long. So he ended up taking 2 mana, one before and one after his operation. And after about, I think it was 3 months, he had gone back to the doctor, and the doctor said he was his poster child for healing.
Especially because he was diabetic. Usually it takes much, much longer than most people to heal. Yeah.
And he was on a pump. He had a pump that
Severe diabetic.
yeah, so he was very severe. I've had other diabetics too tell me that they've used it and it really helped them go back to work. And this type of thing. We've also had a lady who is a cancer. She tried everything. She had all, like, I couldn't figure out why she wasn't being healed, and she ended up. I couldn't figure out why she wasn't being healed. We had a long discussion, and she was doing everything that I could think of at the time, and she just couldn't overcome this tumor. So she ended up going on chemo, and I of course thought, oh my goodness, okay, well, but she took mana with it, and she continued to take mana like quite regularly. And and she ended up after 2 years, she was cancer free, but it took her 2 years. Yeah. So
That's quite something.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. In the time we have left, do you mind sharing for a few minutes where you see the future of your peptide business going? We have a few minutes left.
Well, yeah, I've given this much thought. It's actually a product that could go worldwide and really help a lot of people because it's so simple. It's the type of thing that once the care health and wellness comes in, it could be distributed to health practitioners, and so they could end up selling it, and it could be sold through the card. That's the way I
The assurance card.
would hope.
Yeah.
Assurance, yeah. And then those practitioners would end up making an income. And my intention is to actually lower my income per item, and as it increases. So it's kind of like, I only need so much. We only need so much to really do the things that we want, right? So it could just continue to grow. Others could benefit from it. So, and this may help the health and wellness department to actually expand and do other things. So that's my hope and vision for it.
Thank you so much. It was such a delight to hear from both of you today. Thank you for sharing. I know some people with some health issues. I'll probably recommend them. They come check out your products. And thank you for showing us how simple it is to begin to set up a small business with yourselves. This is great. So thank you guys so much. I'll now pass off to Anna to do your thing, Anna, with Rawb. Thank you guys.
How about sharing the website? I've shared their Telegram in the chat. How about the website?
Yes, if you guys want to put it in the chat, we will also post all your information below the recording of this call on the CHWE channel. Yeah, if you want to put it in the chat. Yeah, thanks, Kelly.
Okay, well, welcome to Rawb. Thank you for coming. I knew Rawb before we even changed over. He has a really, really good program. Sorry, my service dog. Sorry. She doesn't know personal space. Yes, he's done a really, really nice program about love. He started I hope I got that right, Rob. You'll be able to explain it. But Kelly was supposed to be speaking to you, but he did just say to me that you wanted to do show a little PowerPoint presentation. So instead of asking you questions, why don't you say hello to everyone and who you are, what you do, and then you can ask Liz to screen share, and instead of answering the questions, you can just do your presentation instead.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, just click on your screen share. We're good to go.
Gotcha. So just need to pull this up here. Hi, everybody.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you guys. All right. Make sure I get the right one up here. Okay. Can everybody kind of see that okay?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. So these are the questions I was given. And then I just kind of prepared some slides. I'll kind of get through them kind of quick, and then we can go into filling in anything that I missed or whatever people are interested in. So who am I? So I'm Robert Burry, but I'm known as Robbie Love online. That's also my coaching practice, and it just reminds me to be the love, the raw kind. I also have a company which is kind of more in alignment with what we're talking about here, and that is Conscious Pros, and I'm a conscious business growth coach. I have 28 years in small business and marketing, things like that. Over 23 years as a digital marketer, and 16 years as a conscious mind expert, if you will. And that's hypnotherapy, neurolinguistic programming, nonverbal communication, things like that. I've also been meditating for a couple of decades. I've been communicating with Source directly for about 15 years or more. And I'm directly led by Source. That's what guides me in what I do and all this different stuff. I'm all here for the restoration of what I call hope, humanity on planet Earth, the conscious evolution, humanity's ascension, however you want to look at that, this process that we're in. So I'll come back to what I do here in a second, because it makes a little more sense for me to just talk about what my outlook is and how I see all of this. So I really see the major thing we're contending with, or what we're looking at, is this big shift from fear, separation, and lack to love, unity, and abundance for all. This is the predominant shift that is happening from my viewpoint. We can look at it as from fear to love, from the old world to new earth, however we want to frame it. It's really all kind of the same thing. One thing to really look at is we can look at it in the context of like the emotional frequency shift. We can look at it vibrational shift. We can look at it emotional frequency. Here's kind of the chart overlay on something that I kind of came up with another individual, as far as we see these lower vibrational aspects, and we can kind of collect those all together and look at that as fear, right? The lower vibrations of fear, and then the shifts from that up to love or above, right? Love, joy, peace, things like that, predominant vibrations. And really just kind of like, like what Robin and Thomas, it's love and light. There's light and love. That's what it is. And there's either love or lack of love, or there's light or lack of light, something along those lines. This is a way to look at it. So when I see this all as the big shift that's going on, love, unity, and abundance for all. I have different things from communicating with Source, things like that, as far as like the conscious evolution blueprint and how all this stuff fits together. If anybody's interested in that, I'll send it to you. And then there's also like, how do we start practically applying these things? I've developed things like this, the Self-Mastery 5, where it really begins with consciousness. That is the major game that we're contending with at this point, whether it's growing a business, improving your health, self-mastery, whatever that is, relationships. There is a sequence to all this kind of stuff as I see it. So what is it I do? Well, in the context here, we're going to talk about, like the business stuff that I do, but really when you come back to it, whether it's business or anything else, you're still talking about your own self-mastery, that shift from fear to love. And it's all about relationship. Business is all about relationship, which is about communication. So we have to be able to articulate our businesses, what we have to offer, things like that, and follow those relationship rules that we're all kind of aware of. So all of that kind of integrates in. Oh, I guess the other thing here is that I do spend a fair amount of time and working with people on their self-mastery, conscious relationships. I have a group that runs on Tuesdays for this as well, if you're interested in something like that. All right, so back to the business aspect of it. So I've made three main things as far as my business goes with this, and this is helping people grow their businesses, especially people that are here to elevate consciousness, support the shift, all of this kind of stuff, improve people's health, things of this nature, right? Just as in like what Robin and Thomas are talking about, reaching more people. That is the work that we have in front of us. And a lot of us have these missions and things installed within us, right? Or however you want to look at that. So I'm very much about helping those individuals get their reach out to more people, right? Because that's the work. We're all in this together. So it's about us and our work, but then it's about how we're doing our work in the world and helping the collective, right? That is humanity on planet Earth. The other thing is that marketing has been so confusing up to this point that is, particularly from my viewpoint, been by design. So I'm here to simplify that down to its core elements and make it really accessible to everybody. And then obviously, as you can kind of tell, I'm all about the restoration. That's the main objective to all of this. And I've organized everything down into all different experience levels, whether you're just starting out or you're aware that your conscious or non-conscious blocks may be things that are in the way that are stopping you from what you're here to do. Or it can go to like the bigger level of quantum conscious marketing. And that's where we're getting everything into alignment. Yeah, from the quantum all the way down to manifested physical reality. I usually always make sure all the foundational stuff is in place first, right? So we got the core, we don't need to get crazy with it. It's not anything like, oh, you have to be on this platform or that. No, I don't do any of that stuff. We've got the core elements of it, which you'll kind of see here in a second. And then we make sure that's in place and things can go great from there. If there's any kind of blocks, then we go up to conscious marketing and we take a look at, if there's any unconscious blocks or things like that. And then if somebody's open to it, we can go into quantum conscious marketing and really just get everything into alignment if they're open to it. Now, obviously not everybody's open to that, right? Okay. So I have things people can do free downloads of. I have 16-step, I call it base marketing. These are things that I've developed and organized through communion and connection with source, meditation, things of that nature. This is the the conscious marketing map that I also developed to simplify these things. I have 7 key documents that help get people really focused, right? And a lot of this is really to replace a lot of the very expensive and time-consuming and often, especially now, very ineffective old world marketing elements. Different routes for people. I have it look as like we're climbing because we always start with an outcome. We always start with what we want to do, because that is, again, focusing our conscious awareness, right? Because that's really what everything all kind of boils down to, whatever you're consciously focusing on. Whether you want to look at that from a psychology perspective or a spiritual perspective, it is about your mental focus. So we look at it as like climbing a mountain, because growing a business can be pretty challenging, even when things are simplified, right? So this is how I kind of break it down. But anyways, we have different paths, the way I support people. And that can go from just you going on your own or attending a group. Like I have a short group on Wednesday where we kind of work on these elements as we move along, or it can be more of a group move where you're moving with a group, or I work with people one-on-one as well. Yeah. And so again, have a masterclass on that on Wednesdays. So where do I want to take it all from here? I really do see this as, it does start with yourself and your focus and your growth, however you want to look at that, but it is managing the relationships. So we have conscious business, conscious relationships, and conscious self-mastery, right? It's all kind of part of the same thing. And then the more that we are doing our work and, getting our businesses out in the world, supporting, helping people, things like that, that is what I see as, obviously elevating the planet. I have another website, restoration.earth, as far as people that are just trying to plug in, things like that. I do have a lot of things, just kind of like as Anna talked about. I practices like a love now practice, and that's kind of what she was referring to. And it breaks things down into very simplified elements as far as all this kind of stuff goes. So we can be contending with making that shift from fear to love, moving out of anxiety, quieting the mind, things like that, so we can really focus. You know, a lot of us that are here to do great work on the planet, just as in kind of Thomas was talking about, is like there was a need for us to be kind of more on the low key for a while. There's still a lot of elements in place that are preventing or wanting to prevent our growth or the elevation of humanity, but a lot of that is dissipating, as we know. So it is time. It's time for us to come together. It's time for us to be putting ourselves out there. It's time for us to be helping. A lot of us are really getting the call, and yeah, that's kind of what I'm here to do. I'm here to support the shift as we do this. So how can others help me? So I have the two main groups as it stands right now. Those are kind of like entry points for people to be working on these elements, whether they're seeing that they're wanting to work on their relationships and self-mastery, utilizing love now, things like that, or they're wanting to grow a business, whether they're starting out, you know, at the very bottom, or, you know, never done it before, to people that have really, you know, done a lot of it, but they're wanting to grow more. So we have things to be able to help all those people. So if you know of anybody or groups or things like that where I can reach, because it's that thing, right? We're trying to reach more people and all that to be able to help them. You can also go to consciouspros.org/free. You can download this, you can attend the group. And then there's also restoration.earth where you can plug in. And, you know, if you want to collaborate, things like that, or if anything I've said, you know, sounds like something you want to know more about, yeah, you can check that out. And yeah, okay, so that's me. I tried to move through it kind of quick without getting too crazy. So
Oh, that was great, Rob. You're like an
thanks.
oracle of knowledge. It's
Thank you.
it's a shame that we have such a short time with everybody, because as you missed at the very beginning, we were saying that we're doing these little interviews, the shorter ones, so when the portals and things open, you can and you put your proposals or your projects or what you can do forward. They have a nice video to go with it, and then they can see your, like if you do a screenshot, they can hear you and you put a face to a name. But yeah, both really good
Nice.
projects and business things,
Thanks.
really nice.
Well, I guess that was one other thing I did want to say, is just to anybody that has, you know, a business or something that they want to put out there, there's always something you can be doing. My hope is that people will stop waiting. Like, we've had too much waiting going on, and it's time to get moving. And so there's always something you can do. And a lot of this stuff I've broken down into very simplified structure, so you can work on it. You can work on your languaging, your messaging, what you want to do, things of that nature, even if, yeah, anyways.
Definitely. And when we post this video, actually, if you just put in the comments both your websites, Robin and Thomas, and maybe a link to where you can get those sachets. And Rob, if you can either put your PowerPoint in the link and or just your websites. But I think because people go and watch these videos afterwards once we put them on, because not everyone can get on live, but yes, so it's not just for the UNN team to see when you put your projects, it's for everyone else also. So it'd be great if you could put your details in the comments once we post this video after we've come off.
Sure, absolutely.
Yes, and does anyone have any questions? Because I can't, my screen is a bit fuzzy, so. Oh, is that Ricky? Sorry, my screen's going fuzzy. My internet's been bad. Oh, Ricky, do you want to come off mute? Yes.
Hey, thanks, Rob. Wow, you got it all set up and already going. We were
Thanks.
talking in an earlier meeting about tutorials and how to get the message out to folks. We were talking about some local landing pages tied into the hub, you know, the UNN marketplace. When you go through your your classes, are they classes? Will folks learn how to put together maybe a landing page or a page for their local area, or just exactly what should they expect after taking a few of your classes?
Yeah, so I mean, right now the main thing is a group. So as we go through a group, and then as things are small, I just meet people where they're at, and then we work on kind of the core elements. I have it as you there's no like it's like, you know, a lot of times you'll see with marketing things where they'll be like, oh, well, you have to be on this platform, or you need to be on LinkedIn, or you need to do TikTok or anything like that, or whatever, right? I have this all designed to where you go through and we're looking for what's in alignment with you and your business, right? We look at your business as being its own energy, its own entity kind of a thing for the people that are open to have that conversation. Or if they're not, then we just look at it as, hey, what resonates with you? And then I'm paying attention to their nonverbals, things like that, the energy of it. And then we're getting things in alignment as quick as possible. Right. So what can you expect basically right now, you know, I've got a group going and then that I'm spinning up and I just work with them individually. I do have courses that they kind of go through and then we're just really building kind of a plan for them. And then as far as any plan, you test it, see what's working, you get feedback, and then we adjust from there. I don't know if that fully answers your question. There is a lot of bigger picture things that are coming as far as a lot of that goes, obviously. But yeah, does that sort of answer it a little bit?
Yes, and I realize that there's only so much you can do because we only have so much content that is real and
Right,
actionable right now. And
right.
yeah, I look forward to trying to get into her class on Tuesday there. It's in between
Awesome.
the food security meeting and the drinking meeting, so I hope to get in
Okay.
there because we want to work on communications. The idea is to get the word out to folks locally so they can find this information on their phone just by doing a simple search.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, like, you know, for you, whatever it's feeling into it, and then whatever's going to be like that low hanging fruit that's going to be, we're not trying to do extra effort when we don't need to. We don't need to, like, you know, do a massive campaign. We're just
Mhm.
looking to produce whatever the results are, and we do that through our focus and then what seems to
Th-
be in alignment.
Thank you for doing that because it is very overwhelming. And thanks. And I look forward to your class. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks Ricky.
Okay, thank you for that. Is there anyone else who wants to say anything? Liz, if you can see, because my screen's not very good.
Yeah, and also Robin and Thomas, if you want to come back on. Yep, there they are. I knew
Oh,
it.
there you
Come
go.
back on and share if you like, folks. We have some time.
I was just going to say, Rob, it's good to see that in your presentation you presented the cost right up front because uh, that helps people to make a decision right away, you know, if they can afford it or not, right? And I think you're right in line with something that is very affordable. And I think today that's a very important thing that whatever we try to do should be affordable for people. And uh, just on that point, the idea with Mana too is that it is not something you have to take every month. Sometimes some people take 3 a year and they're good for the year. Some people take 1 a year. Um, there's all different sorts because everybody's body is different. So it's you know, we always look for things that are the most effective for the least amount of output, right? And just like Allison, we started with I think it was $1 a pill, but it just overcame things like strep throat and all sorts of problems, right?
Yeah.
And now you can get those down to about 10 cents a pill. So there are things that really work, and they really help to, you know, there are health things that really work, and they help to do these type of things to take care of specific issues. So anyway, I'm just saying that because there might be others here with other products or other ideas, and if you can be upfront with what the costs really are, it does help to market what you're doing.
Yeah, I appreciate that too, because I saw the 1133 of whatever it was a month, whatever. And I appreciate that. You know how often you click on something, coach here, buy this, and you have to scroll down pages and pages and there's more in the Ginzu knives and you can't even get to the price of something until you're like well invested, and kind of annoys me, and then I don't buy from them. But I think yeah. So thank you, Rob, for what you do.
Well,
Actually,
the other
can
thing
I?
too is that I don't turn anybody away for lack of funds, but we do look at balanced energy exchange, and I do have a lot of viewpoints around us taking our power back as far as finances go. Obviously, if you have something that somebody's taking and it's like, what does it cost to go through chemotherapy and all this, you know, as far as for cancer treatment, that, you know, and a lot of these different things that don't work, right? And a lot of us, again, how a lot of us have been kept weak is we've been kept financially weak. That's one of the primary ways. So there is this process of us taking back our funds, taking back our money as far as a collective. But yes, but I don't turn anybody away for that. But I do look at balanced energy exchange, right? Because we do need that on both sides.
That's really nice. Thank you. I was going to ask Robin and Kevin. I'm so sorry, my dog just anything she can do today to be here or knocking my things over. I was going to ask those I didn't see if it was on an Amazon. Nope, I didn't see if it was on Amazon, but do they, or wherever the site is, which I'll look at afterwards, do they come to ship to England? Do you ship to England?
Yeah,
You do.
I can get it. I can, yeah. Mhm.
You can? Okay, thank you. I was just checking that. Sorry, she's normally
that'd be
really
for you.
quiet.
That'd be a good one for all of us, actually. I'm looking forward to taking the product too. And getting Rawb's services as well. So thank you for that presentation. And I really learned a lot today. So thank you, guys. I'm sorry I can't really be on, but my dad's here, so he's kind of needy and loud today.
Oh, my dog's being needy and loud. It's fine. Sorry, she doesn't normally do that. But I am very happy to have seen Robin and Thomas's products and Rawb, your site. I loved what Rawb was doing anyway, and that was before we even changed over to the new site. But I really hope that when they see your videos, that you get the help or the funding you need, as everyone who does the videos. I just want everyone to be funded. So, and you know, so they can all help. That's just how I am. But Liz, is there anything else you want to say?
No, I don't see any other hands up. I just want to thank you. I would like to, Rawb, I took a business coaching course in business last year and had all the practices that I'm just not crazy about. The whole thing where you make the offer, then you pull away, then you make the offer, and you create the sense of urgency. Drove me crazy. And it's not, yeah. And I feel like, and you're supposed to charge all this money. And like, I know there's a balanced energy exchange, but I'm like, I just feel it's a lot to charge for my coaching. I do value myself. I am a coach, but I also want to evangelize down to the people who might not consider being coached, who don't understand it's a top tier thing, like usually the top 1 or 2%, whatever that means, top, to be coached. People who need to be in a certain place in their lives to appreciate coaching, as opposed to, you know, having something paid for by insurance or by the VA or something like that. And I have to pay for my coaching. So, but I'd like to evangelize down at some lower prices that are accessible to people. I do pro bono publico work as well. So I might reach out to you, Rawb, to get some ideas. Maybe we could trade or figure out some energy exchange. Because I'm a solopreneur myself.
Yes, I'm all about exchange. I'm all about that. Yep. Love it.
Well, then, yeah. Does anyone else have any questions? We can keep this shorter. Dunas, you had a nice question earlier.
Only to say, if I could quickly say, I know people have seen a lot of complaining. People are like, well, if we've changed, why do we still have to pay? Where's all the money? Why are we still having to pay for this? And I think, like Kim said the other day, you just have to try and tell people very nicely, because it doesn't change overnight. We've got thousands and millions of years to change over, and we still have bills to pay and families to feed. So people are going to keep on complaining, but that's just the way it is right now. So they're going to have to accept it. Hopefully, you know, obviously, if we could all do it for free, we would. So
yeah, the adjustment, the change, right? Someone put it on one of the chats. Very funny. He said, one trip to Arby's, now this is in the US, one trip to Arby's costs more than a monthly membership to UNN. So I think it's true, but I understand there are people who are down and out, but you know, so yeah, exactly. But in the meantime, people need to get paid, like Sunny, websites, production cameras, all that needs pay. Yeah.
And don't forget to put your details under this video, because the people who come and watch it afterwards, because the ones who can't make it onto live, a lot of people prefer to see it written down rather than trying to catch it when someone speaks. So then they can go and see.
And we want to say too that sorry to interrupt you, Anna. I feel like we just really love you two guests, the two of you and one of you, Rawb, because you are on our list of people who just shown in a particular way of humility, but a shining as well. Like, so we appreciate that. And there's been, no whining and moaning and complaining. So we appreciate that too, like trying to work through our challenges on this planet together. So we appreciate you, and you've been on our list, especially Ricky and Tandy, very much so. So, and many others as well you'll be seeing in the coming weeks. So if there are no other questions, we can consider. Kelly, do you have anything? Anna, anything else?
I'm good.
We're good. Everybody good? Kelly's off.
Well,
Kelly, you got it.
just lots of appreciation for everybody.
Mhm.
Yes.
Glad you're all here. Thanks for making my day better and brighter.
Mine as
Awesome.
well.
And thank
for
you so
having
much
us.
to Robin, Thomas, and to the other Rob. No, sorry. No, it's Robin,
Yeah.
not Rob.
We got it. We got you. We got you. We've been
One of
talking
those
about, we
days.
three mods have definitely been hit by this reintegration where sometimes we feel like, I think together the three of us actually have one complete mind right now, but like we're all a little bit like,
Yep.
what's happening? I'm confused. I'm speaking for everybody here, probably shouldn't, but we've all been feeling a little like, I've been feeling muddle-headed at times. Yeah, but we love you all.
That's because they've been spraying so heavily. The chemtrail frequencies are trying to interfere with what we're doing. They're not going to succeed.
No.
No.
It makes
here
it
we-
harder.
Kelly, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it has been a lot. I had to reach out to Liz for her services this last week because I thought I was gonna lose it. And she's a great healer, by the way. And yeah, I was really feeling that I had bouts of dementia because we were sprayed so heavily for 2 days that it was just like a fog over the lake here. And it was just so I literally thought I was going to lose my mind at one point, and I was just like, help. And Liz was there, thank God. So we worked through some things and much more clarity for sure. But it's been that rough. They've wanted to exterminate us any way they can or shut us down, whatever they can do, and it's not going to happen. But we've had to really like reach into our determination to get through to this point, so we all deserve a hand clap,
All of us here, everyone at CHWE.
Yeah,
And it's delightful for us to support each other, isn't it?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks everybody.
we made it
Thank
this
you.
far.
We made it another day. Blessings to everyone. I'm going to stop the recording